Hey guys, it's Jake from Memory Cards, and today I'm bringing you a review of Labyrinth of Refrain, Coven of Dusk. This is the story of a faraway world, where faint traces of magic still linger. A world called Tanis. The mysterious town of Refrain resides there. Deep beneath that isolated and forsaken town lies an unexplored underground labyrinth. Nobody knows who built it, or when it was built. Some say it still holds treasures that can control the world, treasures that can make one immortal, and a slumbering demon king whose awakening could end the world. But no one knows for certain. What is known is that the labyrinth is filled with cursed miasma, a substance that brings death to any human it touches. One day, a witch arrived at Refrain with the intention of exploring this labyrinth. Her name was Dusk Witch Dronya. She had in her possession a legendary book, said to have been written by the only man to explore the labyrinth and survive, the Tractatus de Monstrum. At its core, Labyrinth of Refrain, Coven of Dusk is a dungeon crawler. I'll admit, I've never really been a big fan of the genre. I've always been allured by them, but after playing a multitude of different titles, I would put them down after a few hours. Thankfully, Labyrinth of Refrain has broken that trend. From first starting the game up, all the way up until writing this review, I was either playing the game or thinking about playing the game. The story keeps you on your toes. It can go from lighthearted to surprisingly dark in one scene change. The story consists of love, death, witch powers, molestation, and more. To be honest, I was incredibly surprised by how dark the game can be at times. The entire story plays out in a visual novel-like style. After completing certain objectives in the labyrinth, you will progress the story and be shown quite lengthy segments. The dialogue between characters is well written, and it helps craft a better understanding of each character's personality. Alongside the visual novel-esque cutscenes, we are also treated with some cute plays which are put on by Dronya and her dolls. These are just a joy to watch. They fold out like you would expect, a play, where the actors are dolls. As stated above, I've never really been a huge fan of first-person dungeon crawlers. Mostly, I think, because a lot of the ones that I've played are tired and drab. They use more muted colors, more down-to-earth textures, etc. Labyrinth of Refrain does the complete opposite. Every single area you enter looks like it could be straight out of a painting. The environments don't blend together, whether you're in the first area of the well, or you're perusing some shops in the market of Refrain. Everything looks as it should, and they seem almost inviting. Yeah, even the well, with all of the frightening enemies roaming about, has an almost inviting quality about it. Because Labyrinth of Refrain is brought to us by the team that created the Disgaea series, you can expect top-notch character and enemy design. Every single character from Dronya to Luca to the acting governor Patrone fit their personalities and mannerisms so well. The level of detail that some enemies are crafted with seems crazy. Sure, you have little basic enemies that look like onions, but once you dive deeper into the labyrinth, the enemy designs become more and more intricate. Here's where things get a little tricky. This game can be overwhelming to a lot of people, myself included, because this is the first dungeon crawler I've really sunk any time into. There are a lot of terms that you may need to memorize. Firstly, the way that your party works isn't like a normal JRPG. You don't have actual living party members. Early on in the game, it is explained that Dronya and Luca cannot travel down to the labyrinth because the miasma down there is lethal to humans. Luckily, you're able to create dolls to do your dirty work for you. These dolls are fully customizable. You're able to choose a base job, the gender, the voice, the look, the way that stats will be spread out, etc. You also get to choose their name. This is just another layer of immersing the player into the world the game so effortlessly builds around you. You can have 5 different covens set up. These can range from healers, fighters, defensive, mage, and so on. So you have to choose wisely when putting a puppet into a coven. You can have up to 40 party members, 40, in your team at one time, depending on the covens used. Another thing to note is that your individual party members don't learn any of their abilities. These abilities are given to them when they are placed in certain covens, so you have to make sure that a pair fortress puppet is put into a defensive coven, and so forth. Battles themselves play out pretty normally. They're turn-based, so you have ample time to think of strategies. A great addition, or in this case subtraction I suppose, is that your characters can't use items whenever they please. To use an item, you have to use up one of your precious reinforcement points, which are used for everything from calling in a new puppet to take place of one who isn't working out, to using on-map skills, such as breaking down walls. The longer that battles persist, the higher your power source will grow. The more this gauge fills, the more likely it is that you will pull off special attacks. As you progress throughout your journey, you'll unlock many different features to help you, such as the Alchemy Pod, which allows you to enhance weapons and armors, as well as disassembling items that you may not need for more mana. A great inclusion here is the Witch Petition. Every so often you unlock new petition rewards. Some of these will make the game easier for you, but by doing so, you will earn less mana, less silver, basically less everything. On the flip side of that, you can also make the game a lot harder, which in turn will grant you more mana, silver, etc. With these petitions, you can learn new skills for Tractatus, also known as Tracti, some of which will allow you to break down walls to create your own path, adding a shroud of fog around your party so you will be less noticeable by enemies, and skills that allow you to locate more items of worth around the labyrinth. You can also use your mana to unlock additional natures, which are used to create your puppets. These new natures will allow you to create a greater variety of puppets with different proficiencies. A must-buy petition, in my eyes at least, is Mud Exit. As soon as this pops up, you should buy it. Mud Exit allows you to designate a point in the labyrinth as a temporary exit, which you can use to go back and forth between the labyrinth and the caravan. If you can't tell by now, this game took me completely by surprise. Never being able to get into dungeon crawlers before, I was apprehensive about this one. I think my enjoyment is partly due to the team creating this game. It's also the team that created Disgaea. You can really see the effort put into this title. It definitely has the same flair that Disgaea has, but it stands out on its own, and carves its own identity. The Disgaea team really did a great job of creating a world where characters don't come off as pawns just to move the story forward. Almost every character you meet stands out from others. This game honestly just bleeds personality. I could get lost in the labyrinth just roaming around and battling. The battle music is also some of the best I've heard in quite some time. It's infectious. It keeps itself in your head long after you put the game down. You're able to switch freely between Japanese and English VO, but honestly, I found the English to be quite good. Dronya's VA is perfect as her. Luca's voice can be a bit grating, but she is a kid after all. So, all in all, I was really blown away by this game. I can definitely see this being one of my top games of this year, just because of the way that it immerses you in the game. Especially if you're playing handheld and you've got a nice pair of headphones, you can hear every sound effect, every voice. It just comes through crystal clear, and it really pulls you into the world. So I would definitely recommend this game to anyone who likes the Disgaea series, who likes the quirkiness, the funniness, or just the stories. Obviously, this game will be a great fit to people who like the first-person dungeon crawler type games, but honestly, I would give this a try, even if you don't like that type of game. This game just bleeds personality, it bleeds uniqueness. So I would definitely pick this up if you get the chance. Thanks for watching our review. Let us know in the comments below if you enjoy the game, if you enjoyed the review, if you dislike it. Just let us know. We want to create a better community here. Thanks for checking it out.